singular and plural word forms. There are also a few instances where there are a few instances of a juxtaposition of singular and plural references to God. These use of singular plural word forms seems to point to a plurality in oneness within God. Let's see them. For example, the names Yahweh, Elohim, and Adonai. Yahweh is always singular, everywhere singular, and uses singular pronouns and verbs. Elohim is plural, but when it refers to God of Israel, it uses singular verbs and pronouns. But then when it refers to the other gods of Canaan, it doesn't use singular verbs, but uses only plural verbs and pronouns. Like Elohim, Adonai is also a plural form. Adonai means my Lord. So, for example, in Genesis 19, Lord talks about, refers to the angels God sent, my Lord. But there are also singular forms of these nouns. El and Eloah and Adon. These are also used for God. It is commonly thought that the plural forms Adonai and Elohim are plurals of majesty or royal plurals. But I don't think Scripture has anything called plurals of majesty. Otherwise, God speaks to himself many times in Scripture, but never uses plural terms for himself in most cases. So not only does the OT not attest to plurality of majesty, it is difficult to explain why only the divine names are in plural while the accompanying verbs and pronouns are almost always in singular, even in passages reporting solely direct divine speeches. One would have expected that plural of majesty would be expressed through other names, but when he reveals his name, personal name, it's singular, Yahweh. So like Mayim, like water, and Shemayim, heavens, a plural in form, but singular in meaning. Elohim Adonai could be examples of a quantitative plural, expressing the plurality in indissoluble unity, just as you cannot divide water or heavens. There I call this exclusives. In monotheistic contexts, Elohim and Yahweh refer to Israel's God. Yahweh is Elohim, and Elohim is Yahweh. And we have the term Yahweh Elohim. Interesting. Yet there are subtle differences, or sometimes. Maybe later I will mention this also. In the NT, while the distinction is not too clear in the OT, in the NT, the interpretation of the OT passage is the NT mostly reserves Elohim for the Father and Yahweh for Christ. So this is quite interesting. Maybe to conclude this section, it says the singular verbs and pronouns, since singular verbs and pronouns are otherwise consistently used for the one true Elohim, the use of plural verb and pronoun forms with regards to him may not be deemed to be merely gratuitous. Something is happening here. It is singular plural references to God. The human being, Adam, is male and female, represented as singular, sometimes him, and also one flesh, and a plural at the same time, them at the same time. This multi-personal unity of the human being seems to reflect some aspect of Elohim, who is presented both as singular and plural in the same passage. For example, it says here in Genesis 1, verse 26-27, God said, singular, let us make, plural, man in our image, plural, according to our likeness, plural. So God created singular, man in his own image, singular. And the image of God, he singular created him.